Hey folks, it's Shooter. Hey, we're going to take a quick look at Amentus here. Of course, at the end of the presentation, please review our disclosures. Okay, now I'm way down here on the 90-minute, and part of what I'm showing here, my thesis on 3 mounds. We get 1 mound, second mound, a third mound. Let me jump over to the NASDAQ to give you an example. If you look at the bottom of the chart here, here's a solid play on the 3 mounds. And you'll notice how each time we're legging up in price. The one thing different from a 3 drive and a 3 mound is that you can have a confirmed high either at the beginning of the first drive, the second drive, or the third drive. First, second, or third, doesn't matter. First, second, or third. In this scenario, when we first looked at this, that would have been a confirmed high. This would have been a newer confirmed high. And in this case, this is a confirmed high, divergent high, confirmed high, divergent high. So, but that's sort of what the look is, just to give you a visual of what I see here playing out. So gap fill is at 608. So what I'm thinking here is maybe this is our first drive, but I think we got a little higher high in price before we back test. So, I would say we maybe see something similar to this. So maybe a 75 RSI for that, but I would be looking for a speed line, whether it be there or up here that we're looking for a speed line is yet to be seen, but that would be my thought. Now, drawing a speed line from our base, starting over here in May 18th, now it's June of 23, we'd be looking at, trend support gets broken at a close below 462. Now I'm only on the 90-minute chart here, so it's a little bit noisy, but let me jump out to the 4-hour, and it's not as clear of a 3 mound at that point. However, adjusting for our distortion in our legs, and let me explain that. Distortion right here, we have a leading diagonal that's showing up on the chart that takes us below our October 217 lows. All right, we're just testing the high of the resistance band from October 2020. All right, our next band is up there in August 21, which is around 813, next resistance. And so, I'm hesitant to say 723 is a target, but I think gap fill is a good spot. But I still, what's developing here is this could be, the thing that you have is the count legs up. So when we look down at a 90-minute and we see the look in the 3 drives, the reality is 1, 2, 3, right, becomes a larger drive 1. Hold on a second, I got to change the visibility on these things real quick so I can. All right, so this becomes a larger 3 drive or 3 mound. So this entire scope here becomes the mound. So so the lower time frames are inside the higher time frames that we look like, and we continue to step up until exhaustion occurs. So that it's a little more complex to watch 3 mounds because they can go so far out in time. Going back to the NASDAQ, we're looking at a monthly chart here, and we go back and we look at the weekly chart, right? We don't have any visual whatsoever of a 3 mound. I mean, the entire leg there, go down to a 4-hour. We have basically a 2 drive in there, so it's not as minute or small as far as the time frames that we're looking at in comparison. But I would think that this is very constructive for a development of a count change to the upside. And see, that's really what I do is I look at the counts on different time frames so I can say, okay, hey, wait a second, this is a reason for us to change our mind, and what really gives me a reason to change our mind. Let me go back to the 90-minute here. I want to put the speed line up here so we can see that on all time frames. Go back to the 4-hour. Now, so actually, now that I drill down on the 4-hour, that speed line really comes down to about 454, 62. I mean, but it's, very constructive to the upside. Again, your resistance is up August 2021 at 813. You got your gap fill at 608. I would say look for at least that gap fill to get filled. Outside of that, I would say that 729 is a viable target, but I'm not convinced it's going to get that far. I'll have to see how this this first push and what our second push develops as, but typically we do get 3. So it's much more constructive than what I looked at the last time when we were winning. I think I looked at it like here, and I was like, it looks like it might be done. But that's what the count does. It sort of morphs based on buyer and seller sentiment. So great trading, folks. Hopefully that was helpful. Until next time.